My brother and sisters, if not for General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, I might not be standing here today speaking to you, my people. My brother from Uganda reached out just in time, and because of that phone call, Burkina Faso was spared another dark page in our history. I owe him gratitude, and I owe you, the people of this country, the truth about what really happened. On the night of January 3rd, the city was silent. The Harmattan winds swept across Ouagadougou, carrying the dust of the desert and the scent of dry leaves. But behind that quiet, something sinister was unfolding. I had just returned from a late-night briefing at the command center, reviewing reports about suspicious movements along our southern corridors. My intelligence officers were uneasy, but even they didn't yet see the full picture. It was around midnight when I got the message from Kampala. General Muhoozi did not waste words. His tone was steady, but urgent. "Brother," he said, "watch your southern flank. There is a whisper of treachery moving in the dark. I want to begin with gratitude. If I'm alive to speak to you today, it is because a brother in East Africa, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba of Uganda, refused to stay silent when he saw danger moving toward Burkina Faso. He reached out and warned me before the storm arrived. That single act of solidarity saved not only my life, but the future of our revolution. And for that I thank him from my heart and on behalf of all Burkinabe people. Now let me tell you what really happened, how the latest coup attempt against my leadership unfolded, how it was stopped before it even began, and what it means for the destiny of our country. For several days at the start of 2026, my instincts told me that something strange was happening inside the army. Small signs, nothing dramatic, but enough to make me question. A unit relocated supplies without my authorization. Certain dismissed officers began showing up again, in towns they'd left months ago. Reports from intelligence came in fragments. Intercepted radio chatter, discreet meetings in Kaya and Waheguya. At first it looked like routine chatter from smugglers or militants, but I knew the smell of a network forming. By January 3rd it became undeniable that forces hostile to our government were preparing something. I could feel it. Those of us who have lived through coups know that quiet before the explosion. Then came the call. It was late evening in Ouagadougou when my aide hurried into the room and said a secure channel from Kampala was requesting direct connection. On the line was General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the Chief of Defense Forces of Uganda, a man whose commitment to an independent Africa I have long respected. His voice was calm but firm. "Brother Ibrahim," he said, "there are movements around you that are not normal. My people picked up communications between a group in Togo and your southern flank. The plan is not an open coup. They intend to remove key men near you quietly, within days. Be alert." At first I was silent. To hear that kind of warning from far away in Uganda, it shook me. Muhoozi's intelligence network had sensed the danger before it reached my table. I thanked him and promised swift action. I hung up, looked at my officers and said one sentence: "The enemy is nearer than we think." Immediately, I called an emergency session of the National Intelligence Agency. For months we had upgraded our entire security infrastructure, communication intercept systems, local informant networks, even drones for surveillance. But we hadn't expected the threat to come from those once inside our own ranks. We began tracing every encrypted signal that had crossed from Lomé to eastern Burkina in December. Within hours, our technicians confirmed it. The same frequencies matched devices once used by men loyal to Paul Henri Sandaogo Damiba, the very man I overthrew in 2022. Hearing that name again reminded me of how far we've come, and how far some are still willing to fall. Damiba, after his fall, fled to Togo, claiming he only wanted peace. But I knew he could never accept the new path Burkina Faso had chosen. He had once worn the same uniform as me, yet we were different types of soldiers. He wanted comfort, connection with the old order. I wanted liberation for my people. It was that difference that brought us here. Now I learned he had been plotting from exile, coordinating with some bitter elements inside our borders. Officers who lost their ranks after corruption investigations, civilians who saw their privileges stripped away, and most dangerously, terrorist groups that have been tormenting the Sahel. I could hardly believe it at first. For a man who once marched under the same flag to now work with JNM, the jihadists who have massacred innocent Burkinabe men, women and children, how could anyone sink so low? But when lust for power consumes the soul, loyalty to the homeland disappears. Our intercepts revealed that Damiba's group had chosen the weekend of January 4th to act. Their plan was cold and calculated. They would assassinate specific figures in my inner circle, my security chief and 2 senior commanders, and blame the attacks on terrorist infiltrations. While confusion spread in the capital, JNM fighters hiding in border zones would launch raids to amplify panic. By the time order collapsed, their faction inside the military would step in to restore security, a classic pretext for coup d'etat. That was their dream. But our intelligence had quietly entered their nightmares. Guided by Muhuzi's warning, I ordered total surveillance. We did not rush. Timing is everything in this game. By watching, we identified the web. Every contact, every secret channel, every meeting place. We even located the safe houses in Ouagadougou and Koudougou where